Let's see the next topic. The next topic is networking devices, and in the networking devices, these are the important topics. You should know what exactly is the networking devices, what are the different type of networking devices, and the functions of each networking devices. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to see all these topics from the exam point of view. Okay. So the first one is, what is the function and purpose of networking devices? Okay, so you know that basically a network is the collection of computer which is used to share the resources. Okay, so in order to connect those computer or those nodes, we need some devices. Those are called networking devices. So the main purpose of these networking devices are used to connect the computers. Okay, and the next important pointer is that it works at different layer of OSI or TCP/IP model. So there are two model in the computer network. You should know there is 7-layer model, that is OSI model, and 5-layer model, TCP/IP model. Okay, so this we have already made a chapter on this particular model. Okay, you can just go through those model. What are those model? What are the name of the 7 layers? What are the function of each layer? Okay, so for timing, just remember the networking device works at different layer of OSI model. Okay, from exam, you will get one questions from layer also. Okay. So these are the different types of networking devices which are commonly asked in the competitive examination, more specifically to SSC, RRB, JE. Okay, so let's see one by one. So before proceeding, you should know the networking devices and the layer of operation. So this is very important slides. Okay, so as you can see, these are the layer: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, and application layer. This is what model? TCP/IP model, because there are 5 layers in it. Okay, this is TCP/IP model. Okay, and he can ask you in many ways. Okay, for example, he can ask you at what layer gateway operate. Okay, so your answer should be that it operate at all the layers. So you can see the pink color, it is operating at all the layers. Similarly, router works from physical layer, data link layer to network layer. The topmost layer is the network layer. Okay, similarly, bridge mainly operate at the data link layer, but it has to pass through physical layer, and repeaters or hub works only at the physical layer. Okay, so the layer and the networking devices you should remember. Okay, coming to the first networking device, that is repeater. The scenario is like that: if you want to extend the Ethernet cable to cover more distance, suppose you are working on this PC, okay, and you are changing or you want to extend your PC to some other location, say 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer. Okay, in that case, you can use a repeater. Just join those cable and you will have access of this computer also. Okay, so basically the function of the repeater is to connect the two network segment to extend the distance. Okay, as you can see, this segment 1 is extended to segment 2 via repeater. Okay, and as I told you also that it works at the physical layer. So you can see it works at the physical layer, layer 1 only. This is important pointer. And a very important pointer which is generally asked is that it is used to regenerate signal, not amplify. Some text gave it as an amplification, but it is not amplification, it is a regeneration. It is going to regenerate signal over the long distance. So this pointer was asked in SSC selection phase 5th. Okay, so as you can see, these are the corrupted signal. So this digital signal via repeater, it regenerate those signal with the help of repeaters. Okay, and a very important pointer is the filtering capability. it has no filtering capability. Okay, so it just repeat the signal, that's it. Okay, so it has no filtering capability. Coming to the hub, for example, you are working in an office, okay, and you want to give a print. Okay, so there are many PC which are connected to the printer, okay, using some star topology. Okay, in that case, you need a hub. Okay, for example, this is your PC, okay, and this is the printer. Okay, so via hub you can directly give the printing command to that printer. Okay, so basically hub also connects the computer or devices in the LAN, but the basic difference between hub and the repeater that we are going to see in the next pointer. Okay, it also works at the layer 1, that is physical layer, and the main difference that I was telling you is the broadcast communication. Okay, what does this broadcast means? It sends the data to all the connected devices. Okay, so it is a broadcast device basically. Okay, and it broadcast means like it will send data to all the connected devices. Suppose I want to communicate with this computer, I can communicate with this computer, or I can communicate with this computer, since it is connected to a central point in the star topology. And again, since it is working on the physical layer, there is no intelligence or no filtering in it. Okay, this is also again a very important pointer he can ask. And the next one is also known as multi-port repeater. Okay, hub is known as multi-port repeater. Okay, it is some sort of repeater, but it has many ports in it. Okay, so that's why it is known as multi-port repeater, and commonly it is used in the star topology. Coming to the next networking device, suppose there are 2 floors in your office, and they are separated by LAN. So each office, each floors has their own LAN. Okay, you want to connect those 2 floors. In order to connect those 2 floors which have separate LAN, you use the bridge. Okay, so the purpose of this bridge is to connect 2 LANs. Okay, LAN is what? Local area network. And this pointer was asked in SSC CGL, a very simple one. You have 2 LAN, this is your first LAN, this is your second LAN, and you want to connect these 2 LAN. For that you need a networking device named as a bridge. Bridge, as you know, the word itself says it is used to connect the 2 parts. Okay, so here it is going to connect the 2 LAN segments, and it works at the data link layer, not at the physical layer. Okay, and the main pointer is that it is going to forward the data within the network. Okay, so this network which was made, it is going to forward in the same network. It cannot send outside to the internet. Okay, and since it works at the data link layer, it is going to use MAC address. What is MAC? MAC is media access control. Okay, so it is a basically data link address. I think it is 12-bit 6-byte address. Okay, it is 6-byte address which identify the hardware of the computer. Okay, since it has MAC address, so it will definitely use MAC address based filtering. Okay, suppose this table, if you see, it has make a bridge table and it has 6 bytes in it. These are the MAC address, and it is going to use this table for transforming the information. So it is going to filter it out based on this bridge table. Okay, so it has also MAC based filtering capability. The next that we are going to see is the switch. Bridge and switch are commonly the same purpose, but the contrasting difference is that it has few ports. Few ports means it can connect only 2 max to 4 LANs in one go. Okay, so it can connect only 2 LANs, whereas switch has multiple ports, so switch can connect many LANs using that device. Okay, this is the primary difference between the bridge and the switch. Okay, and it is also known as two-layer switch since it works at the layer 2. Okay, yes. Let's see the next pointer. It is switch. So as I told you that it is similar to the bridge, it is also going to connect the LAN, but the primary difference is the number of ports. So switch will have multiple ports, whereas a bridge has 2 or maximum 4 ports in it. Okay, so switch is going to use many ports, and it is used to connect multiple LANs, not like 1 or 2 LANs. It is going to connect multiple LANs, in fact in order of 10 to 12. Okay, and as I told you, it is going to connect multiple devices within a LAN. It is like a hub. So hub is used to connect independent devices, whereas switch is used to connect the LAN. Okay, and it works at the data link layer 2, and again it is similar to the bridge, that it is going to forward the data within the same network. And since it works at the data link, it is going to use the MAC address, and MAC address, as I told you, it is media access control, which is the physical address of your device or your computer. Since it is using MAC address, it is going to have MAC based filtering capability. Okay, suppose he will make one table here. Okay, based on the entries in this table, it is going to make a decision whether to pass the data from one particular LAN to another. Suppose this table says that it should not be sent to LAN this number. Okay, so it will going to reject all the packets based on this table. So this is what is called MAC based filtering. And as I told you that switch has many ports, whereas bridge has few ports in it. Okay, these are two similar devices, but the basic difference is this only. And sometime he can ask you what is an intelligent hub. So it should be switch. Switch is known as intelligent hub because it is using MAC based filtering capability. The next one, and the very important one from the exam point of view, is the router. So if you want to connect your LAN to the internet or LAN to some other LAN, there is a device called router. So this symbol denotes routers. Okay, and as you can see, you are connecting this LAN to a WAN, and again it is connected to LAN. So in that case, a router is needed, and nowadays everybody knows what is the purpose of router. It is used to connect two or more different network. Different network means here it is LAN, here it is WAN, again here it is LAN. Okay, and here it is one more network, that is internet. So it is used to connect two or more different networks. That is okay, but the primary important point, it connects those networks which uses the same protocol. What do you mean by same protocol? For example, this LAN uses TCP IP model. So again, this LAN should use TCP IP model only, then only router will work. Okay, if it is using some legacy protocol or some custom protocol, it is not going to operate. Okay, so this is very important pointer for your exam. It is going to connect different network that uses the same protocol, and it works at the network layer 3. This is again a very important pointer. This was asked in SSC CGL 2016. Again, it is going to forward the data between different networks. That is a common terminology. It can connect to LAN to LAN, to LAN to WAN, and LAN to internet. Okay, and whereas if you see, bridge and switch uses MAC address for filtering. Here it is going to use IP address. IP address is what? It is internet protocol address for routing the packet. Okay, that was physical address. It is known as the logical address. Okay, it is known as logical address. Each device will have a logical address in it. Okay, if it's want to communicate some other devices. Okay, so router use IP address, not physical address. And Again, router can have filtering capability, but this time it will be IP address based. Okay, so similar to the bridge and switch, it will have a table. That table is called routing table. In that routing table, it is going to have entries based on the MAC IP address, and in which IP address you should forward the data that is going to have in that table. Okay, and it is also known as 3-layer switch because it works at the 3rd layer, and also known as internetworking device. Internetworking device means it is going to connect the 2 different networks. That's why it is called internetworking device. Okay, so 2 networks, so you are connecting the internetwork, so that's why it is known as internetworking device. Whereas it works at the 3rd layer, so it is known as 3-layer switch. Okay, coming to the next networking device, that is gateway. Gateway is basically, as I told you, router is used to connect the network that uses the same protocol, where gateway is used to connect the 2 different networks that uses the different protocol. Okay, this is a very different protocol. Okay, this is a very important pointer. It is different from the router. How it is different from the router? It is going to use the different protocol, and it is works at all the 7 layer. Okay, and whereas if you see the router works at the layer 3, whereas it operate at all the 7 layer. And a very important pointer, again, it is known as protocol converter. Why protocol converter? Because it is using different protocol, so it need to convert one protocol to another protocol. Okay, so gateway is one of the gate of entry into another network that uses different protocol. The next one is a modem. So from exam point of view, you should know the full form. It is modulator and demodulator. So MO from modulator, okay, and DEM from the demodulator. Okay, so modulator and demodulator. So what is the purpose of modem? First, you should know that it is used to convert digital signal to the analog signal via telephone line and vice versa. What do you mean by digital and analog signals? So this is your computer. So as you know, computer understand only digital signal. Okay, so I will make it modem. So this is my modem, and this is going to use telephone line. Again, the other PC which will going to use modem, and again one more PC. Okay, so since this PC is going to generate digital signal, so this digital signal will be passed to the modem. It will convert into the analogous signal, because telephone line will have analog device. It is going to carry only analog signal, and in analog signal it will be transmitted to the telephone line. The other device which is connected to the modem, it will receive the analog data, and it will convert to the digital, since PC is going to understand digital part only. Okay, so there are 2 terminology like modulation and demodulation. The first, where it is going to convert digital to analog, that is called modulation, whereas the reverse part, where it is going to convert analog to digital, it is called demodulation. Okay, and primary purpose of modem is used to internet connectivity. Okay, nowadays everybody know that modem is used to connect the internet, and the function, as I told you, that it is going to connect the computer to the network via telephone line or ISP. Example is home computer connected to the telephone line, and telephone line is connected to your internet service provider from which you are using the internet. Okay, so from this particular modem, you should know what is modulation, what is demodulation, and what is the full form. So full form is very important. Okay, the next pointer is that there are different types of modem based on transmission media. There are 5 modems which are available. So the very important one is a dial-up modem. Dial-up modem, as you know, when you are dialing something, means you are using the telephone, and it uses the traditional telephone line, not the latest transmission media. Okay, so if it is using latest traditional telephone line, it is dial-up modem, and it generally it is a small, and nowadays it become obsolete, and it is order of kbps. Okay, and nowadays DSL modem has come into picture, that is digital subscriber line, which again uses a telephone line, but they are faster, and the order is around 1 mbps or more. Okay, the other like cable modem, which uses coaxial cable. Wireless modem, as you know, it uses the mobile network. So whatever the mobile network like 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G you have, it is going to use those network for the internet access. Satellite modem is the one of its kind that it is used to connect the internet via satellite signal. It is going to communicate with the other device using satellite links. Okay, these are not commonly asked in the exam, but still you should know the different types of modem also. The next is access point. For example, you want to connect to the Wi-Fi, okay, then to office LAN. Okay, nowadays normally everybody uses hotspot and the Wi-Fi. So basically we are connecting through access points. So access points main function is that it is going to connect your wireless device, it can be laptop or mobile, to the wired network. Okay, that is wired LAN. And this access points work at the data link layer, and physical layer is used for the wireless transmission. Okay, this is different from the wired transmission. For wireless, physical layer will be definitely used, but it works at the data link layer, that is layer 2. Okay, coming to the next is the firewall. So the main example is that suppose you are working in a company and you want to protect your company LAN from the internet connection. Obviously, since internet can introduce some virus into your LAN, so you need to protect your LAN from the malicious person. Okay, in that case you need a firewall. Basically firewall works at the network and transport layer, and sometime application layer. Okay, but the main is that it works at network and transport layer. And as I told you, it is going to connect internal network to the external network. Internal network is your local area network, whereas external network is the internet. Okay, and the very important pointer for the firewall is whether it is a hardware based firewall or the software based firewall. It is going to filter incoming and outgoing traffic, and based on the security rules. Okay, suppose your company has some rules that it should not allow the person to use Facebook. Okay, so it is going to filter that website via connecting to the internet. Okay, so that is one good case. And it also protect from the unauthorized access. Okay,